Hello, friends. Self-love has always been kind of the core of my message. And today, this morning, when I was out in the woods, there was this, it comes like a nice title or an idea. And it was more a question like, who is it really that we love when we start bringing love back to ourselves, when we start maybe practicing self love? Who is it that we love? Who needs that love? Because we're talking about self love. We can easily go to, yeah, everybody else needs love. Everybody else needs my love, but not me. And even though I know that many of us have certainly turned that corner and are also including ourselves in the love, I just feel moved to go a little bit into who it is, what part of us do need that love. And the answer is pretty obvious, right? Who needs the love? Well, every single part that we are denying love to. That's about as simple as it gets. So just think about that. How are you aware of the parts in yourself that you have been and are denying love? That's really where the journey starts, to come back home, to start living in oneness, in connection and in oneness with the divine that we are. The divine would never, ever exclude anybody or deny anybody love. It's impossible because the divine is love itself, and love cannot be other than love. Love cannot deny love to anybody. That's simply impossible. Just like when you go into the ocean, you will get wet. The water is not going to say, oh, you, no, you're not going to get wet today. That would be funny, wouldn't it? But it's really, really basic, right? When we come down to it. So the invitation, as always, is to really become aware how you may not be first of all, you may not be conscious of the fact that you are denying yourself love. It can be just be a very unconscious pattern and belief that you carry around. And by the way, we all do that, and we all not love ourselves for the most part of our lives because we don't even know that we're doing it. It's just this automatic programming that's kind of been implanted into us based on, whatever life experiences we've had, whatever programming the false matrix is bringing in, all of that. So here we are, a species walking around denying ourselves love. Now, how does it get more insane than that when you really look at it? Maybe for some of you, it's like, no, that's not insane. I don't deserve love because I did this or I'm like this. It's like, well, that may be your experience, but what tells you that you do not deserve to receive love because of that? Where is that coming from? Where did you learn that? Society, maybe? Your parents? All of it? Maybe. But what good does it do? When you really understand that denying yourself love, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do any good. It doesn't improve things. It doesn't make you feel more able to be yourself, so you can be more loving to others too, in case you had done something to some other people in the past that was unloving. And again, we've all done that in our ignorance. But we shouldn't perpetuate it because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't heal, it doesn't improve, it doesn't soften. It doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't connect you back to God. It doesn't take you to heaven. All that stuff where you deny any part of yourself or anybody else for that matter, but it starts with ourselves. It's just a way of keeping ourselves out of heaven because that does not exist in heaven. So that kind of behavior is out of heaven behavior. If we want to go to heaven, and I don't mean physically dying. I mean heaven as heaven on earth, that heaven is already here on earth. The oneness, the love, the peace, whatever it is that we all long for, every single one of us, consciously or unconsciously. But that is it's really a way of keeping ourselves separate from what we really want. And I think it's important piece to really take in that denying yourself any kind of love anywhere inside of you is a sure way to keep you out of peace, keep you in separation, keep you definitely feeling separate from the divine. All that stuff that you don't want, but that you are perpetuating just because you are denying yourself love. It's kind of sad in a way, I think. But what part, I mean, if we start making it more conscious, because the parts that are unconscious about that behavior, I mean, what are you going to do? You're not aware of it, so you can't really do much about it. But when we start looking inside and doing the deeper work, which is, by the way, as a self-love mentor, which is one of the roles that I play here on earth, that is what I help people to become aware of what parts they are denying themselves love. There's a lot more to it, but that's a very powerful entry point for all of us to start noticing, like, wow, I really don't feel I deserve to be loved. I really don't feel I can be successful or be happy. I always doubt myself. Something in the back of my mind is telling me that I can never have it. These are things that we are basically doing to ourselves, not out of stupidity or malice or anything like that. It's done because we are unconscious of the programming that we are being bombarded with 24/7. So we just go around the world, beating ourselves up, and somehow we don't even know we're doing it. We just feel miserable, and we feel that there's probably something about us that makes us feel that we deserve that. And then you're in that story, in that energy field. It's like a spin where you're in it all the time. All the time. You wake up in the morning and it's right there. You go through your day. You might get distracted and enjoy certain things, but right away, boom, we're back here in that cycle or recycle of what we basically don't want. So the question today would be like, what part of you needs your love? And when I ask that question, just see if anything shows up for you that goes like, it might right away, because that part that's not being loved, that might be the most obvious one. It feels like a twinge or an ooh or oh, something really not good. And that's a very good place to start to at least admit it to ourselves. Like, wow, I can see I'm just beating myself up because whatever, my nose, my hair, my weight, my gender, my lack of money, my past things I've done, anything, my jealousy, the things that are going on in my head, which by the way they're not yours. I did a video on that those thoughts are not yours, but we believe they're ours, and that's why we engage in them and try and do something about them and believe them so that there's something wrong with us. And that's why we don't feel that we deserve to be loved. So the invitation is for all of us is always to have some kind of a little uh, part of your attention on, like, you know, am I really cutting myself off from love, from kindness, from what I want, what I long for? You know how many times I've been talking about the longing, which is a very, very powerful place to enter into. And what we long for is also being squashed, right? So we're not being loving to ourselves when we have something arise and like, oh, I would love this, I would love that. We squash it. It's very unkind to squash this energy or this movement of our longing, what we really want. It's like lid on, can't have it. And then, of course, we close the door for that ever to happen. It's something we all do it to ourselves, but we do it unconsciously. So if we really want to change and transform, it all starts with becoming conscious of what we are not conscious of. So that will be my invitation today, to really look at whatever showed up for you, or when I say it again, what part of you are you not being kind to? We can even start with kindness instead of love. Where are you being really harsh on yourself? So whatever shows up, it usually shows up right away, right? And then there might be a story around it, a memory, whatever it is. And then we start there and just see if we can just be present with that. Oh yeah, I do this to myself. And a side question is, what is it serving? What does this self behavior, this lack of self love, what is it serving? What part of you is being served by that behavior? And is it working? Is it making you happier? Is it making you feel more fulfilled or included? So this is deep work. This is deep work when we go to start really excavating all these layers where we have denied ourselves love. That's very, very powerful work. And that's where deep transformation happens. So we start with becoming aware of it. If you feel that this resonates with you and you're not quite sure how to start, how to do it, feel free to reach out, set up a self-discovery session with me. And it's many times, I would probably say always, easier to have somebody support you in that process, especially in the beginning, and especially with somebody who has kind of gone through that whole route, that whole journey, and still is. I'm not saying I'm ever going to be done, but I don't know. There's layers that suddenly show up again. It's like, oh, you're still here. Well, honey, come on, let me hold you. Let me include you in the love, in the divine love that is everywhere, inside and out, and it just pours. It's not thinking about, if you're good or bad. It just pours, right? Water just pours. The sun, the rays of the sun, they just shine. It does not distinguish between, deserving or not deserving. It's one of those programs we've taken on and are probably not aware of. So, my friends, Please comment below, like, subscribe, share. Let me know how you dance with self-love. How does it work for you? Where do you feel you get stuck? Reach out for help. Or check out you can check out my playlist about self-love. I have a ton of videos on that, which might be very helpful. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say for today. And go and be really, really loving to yourself and see what happens. Just see if you can find one little part of yourself, a little teeny part, and see if you can just change your energy or your relationship to it. It can change a lot of things when we do that. All right, friends, I'll see you soon.